Good evening, everybody. My name is Albert Spiegel, class of 1995 and Director of Technology, and this is the Modified Tuesday Tech for August 11th, 2020. We did have some issues with the recording from last week, so we are doing a quick modified version here so I can cover the content that I did last week. Just a few reminders. We are posting all of the links for the slide decks and the audio or the video to this tiny URL link that you see on the screen. I'm just going to remind you about technical support in the next slide. Don't forget, if you haven't taken your ID card pictures yet, please do that as soon as possible and send them to helpdesk@bergencatholic.org. We're going to talk briefly about device pickup tonight and then a little bit about your devices themselves. Again, helpdesk@bergencatholic.org is our main means of technical support. We also have Zoom available. If you have any issues or concerns you need to talk with one of our techs and want to do that live, you can do so. Picking up devices. Starts on Monday, August 17th. Will continue through Friday, August 28th on the times and days listed on the screen. We ask that when you get to school, you park in the front semicircle. You call the IT office at 201-634-2210. One of our tech team members will bring your devices out to you. We ask that you wear a mask at all times when you are interacting with the tech team. If you are dropping off personal devices that need to be imaged, meaning you do not purchase your one or more devices from Bergen and you're using your own, you can drop them off on these times above. Now, just a few words about laptops and accessing your laptops. When you get your device, you'll be presented, when you turn it on for the first time, a login screen looking for an ID and a password. If you go on PowerSchool, okay, your username and your password are both on PowerSchool. So your username is listed as Network ID. It's your first initial and full last name and last 2 digits of your graduation year. It's the same as your email. Okay? And your password is a series of 8 random numbers. It is what we call your network password. Okay, so you'll find both of them on PowerSchool under School Info when you log in either with student or parent access. This is what the screen will look like. When you click on School Info, you'll see your network ID and your network password. And you use those credentials to log into your computer. When you're at school, we have 2 wireless networks that we use, one for the MacBooks and one for the iPads. The MacBooks attach to the network called BCHS_students. Now, if you're having any issues with your MacBook or your iPad, first thing you can always do is just turn off the wireless, wait a few seconds, and turn it back on again. Generally, that can solve most problems. Sometimes you might need to fully power off your device and turn it back on again, and that's fine too. Okay, but generally, wireless issues can be solved with turning the Wi-Fi off, turning it back on again. On your iPads, the Wi-Fi is BCHS_student iPads. Okay, self-explanatory. One wireless network for each device. We are a Google Apps school, and as we mentioned before, we use Gmail to access your student email, but there's also a whole suite of other Google Apps products that you can use. The main thing I want to talk about tonight is Google Drive or Google File Stream. It is really important that you back up your data. It is really important that you come up with a means of saving all of your important schoolwork. I would suggest creating folders, one for each of your classes, and you're going to save them, put those folders in Google Drive. Once you're connected to the internet, Google Drive will sync what's on your computer in the Google Drive folder with what's in the cloud. It is extremely important you back up your data. I would even go one further and potentially use Time Machine. If you get a minimum 128 gig external hard drive or thumb drive, you could back up your laptop. Okay? It is really important to come up with a good place to save all of your information. So if something happens to your laptop, all your data is safe. When you sign into FileStream, you're using your email credentials. So the first time you open it, it'll ask you for an email address. You'll put in your Bergen email address and your email password. Right? And the idea, again, is to synchronize everything with Google Drive and what's on your MacBook. Okay? You can also access whatever is on Google Drive on your iPad or from any device. And the idea is that we have multiple copies of your files. If something happens to your laptop, all of your stuff is saved. It is really important. Now, there's a lot of policies that are in the family handbook, and you'll see them, in the near future. But these 7 that are on the screen, I want to highlight because they're really important. Number 1, don't bring your device to the cafeteria. If you do so, you're doing so at your own risk. Sometimes things spill, things get broken, things get dropped. You might have it in your book bag and someone steps on it. The cafeteria is not a good place for your devices. Okay? It's important to leave your devices in your academic locker during gym, during lunch, and after-school activities. Okay? If you play an after-school sport, a coach can let you back into the building after hours to get your stuff from your locker. It is really important to take care of your devices. Okay? Someone paid good money for these, and while yes, they do have warranty coverage on them, it's really difficult if you're without them. Okay? We have a limited supply of loaners, but they're not guaranteed. Okay? Sometimes we won't have a loaner for you. Okay? So it's really important that you take good care of your devices. Don't attempt to change any settings on either device. They're set up for a reason the way they are. Okay? You don't need to change anything to get them to work properly. Right? Leave the settings the way they are. You want to leave your home stuff off of your school devices. No games, no file sharing, no streaming. You don't need Netflix and all that on your school device. Okay, save that for your home stuff. Never leave your device unattended. It's really important that when you leave a room, you leave for the day, you always check to make sure that you have your MacBook, your iPad, and both your chargers. I would suggest labeling your chargers, okay, because they all look alike. Don't leave your device charging someplace and then walk away from it. If you're going to charge your device in school, make sure you stay with it. Because we've had issues in the past where sometimes students forget where they plugged it in, or a teacher saw it and has it for safekeeping, and then it becomes a little bit of a hassle trying to find. So it's really important you never leave your device unattended. Both devices must come fully charged each day to school. Okay, so your MacBook and your iPad, make it a habit before you go to bed at night. Plug in both devices so they're fully charged in the morning. And take care of your devices. Okay? These devices are not cheap. And they will last you 4 years easily. Okay? They are meant to last, provided you take care of them. Okay? Someone is paying good money for these devices. So it's really important that you take care of them. Okay? If you purchase the iPad from Bergen Catholic, we give you a case. I would suggest a good backpack to carry your laptop in. If you want to put a plastic shell around it, whatever you think you need to do to keep your laptop and your iPad safe, I would suggest you do. Okay? And as I said before, loaners are not guaranteed. Okay? We may not have a loaner if something happens to your device. So it's really important you take good care of it. Hey, lastly, the Technology Support Center is open every school day from 7:40 to 3. Okay, the Technology Support Center is staffed. Mr. Patton is the manager, and there's a group of students that work in the office every day. The Technology Support Center is located across from Dr. Mahoney's office in the senior hallway. It's next to room 11. If you are bringing your laptop for anything, it's important to back up your data first in case something has to be done with it. And especially if we determine it has to go to the Apple Store. As I said before in the last slide, we may have loaners, we may not have loaners. So it's important you take good care of your devices. The 3 nearest Apple stores to Bergen Catholic are the Garden State Plaza, Tice's Corner, and Nanuet, which is in New York. The Garden State Plaza we find generally tends to be crowded. Tice's Corner and Nanuet may be your best bet. If you live in that area or in this, close to one of these and have to go to the Apple Store. The good part about having the Apple Care Plus is that you have a problem at 5 o'clock on a Friday, you can get help on Friday as opposed to having to wait till Monday to see someone in the Tech Support Center. So in closing, it's just really important that you take good care of your devices. Okay? They're going to last you. They will treat you well provided you treat them well. Okay? Make sure you review the policies when the family handbook comes out. And make sure you set up Google Drive so that you have your folders for each class and you're ready to go for the start of the year, and come up with a good backup plan for storing your data on Google Drive so that if, God forbid, something happens to your device, all your data is safe. With that, that's the end of my modified Tuesday Tech for August 11th. Certainly, if you have any questions, please email helpdesk@bergencatholic.org. Thanks for listening, and have a great evening.